You've got all the whitewater breakers coming up on that jetty. So you got to surf your way in and then turn 90 degrees to get into that place.
Edgar Hansen's sudden departure from Deadliest Catch left fans in total shock.
Oh, hey, Mandy.
Hey.
This move paid off. A lot of clean crab. I was really impressed.
For years, he's been a key part of the crew, facing brutal storms and fierce competition on the Bering Sea. But why would such a loyal member leave one of TV's most intense shows? Let us dive into this unexpected twist that will reshape the way Americans look at reality TV shows for generations to come. A fisherman's fall from glory. One of the key personalities that kept viewers glued to their screens was Edgar Hansen, who made his mark in season 9. He stepped into the spotlight as Sig Hansen's younger brother, taking over operations on the famous fishing vessel, the FV Northwestern. For 4 intense seasons, he worked side by side with his niece Mandy, running the ship, handling the stress of the sea, and living up to the Hansen name. But then he was gone. No explanations, no official statements. Just poof. And while some fans were left scratching their heads, others quickly found out why. His departure wasn't exactly because he wanted a quiet retirement.
My dad came from a small town in Norway called Karmøy. It's on the southwest tip of Norway, right in the ocean. He was a good fisherman. Plus, it was in his blood. That's what his dad before him did, and his dad before him.
Let's just say, what happened off-screen wasn't exactly Discovery Channel promo material. Before we dive deeper, it's certain that the truth behind Edgar's departure is far darker than anyone could have predicted. And this won't be the only thing that will shock you. He had the perfect backstory for the show. A classic fisherman's life, rooted in tradition, as a descendant of Norwegian seafarers. His father and grandfather were both fishermen, which almost made it inevitable that he would end up on a boat somewhere, hauling nets. With little formal education, he dedicated his life to fishing, spending his childhood tagging along with his father and siblings. It seemed like a wholesome upbringing, right? Days spent learning the ropes, working on boats, and bonding with family. But, well, real life has a way of taking unexpected turns, and not all of them were good for him. He wasn't just any fisherman either. He eventually became the deck boss of the Northwestern, before being promoted to captain. Quite an impressive resume for anyone in the industry. He made himself a vital part of the show, and fans loved his no-nonsense attitude, his work ethic, and his ability to handle anything the ocean threw at him. Sig Hansen may have been the one steering the ship from the captain's chair, but he was the guy doing the dirty work and keeping the crew together.
That I can run the boat and do what we got to do to bring the crab in. The thing I worry about most is getting somebody hurt because of one of my mistakes.
For a while, everything seemed golden. The Hansen brothers were basically the royalty of the Bering Sea, winning crab derbies and maintaining their vessel's reputation as one of the most successful in Alaska. But that all changed in 2018. In July 2018, he pleaded guilty to charges that shocked fans of the show, assaulting a 16-year-old girl. Not exactly the proud fisherman legacy he probably had in mind. The court documents laid it all out, and it wasn't pretty. He ended up with a 364-day suspended sentence. Along with some hefty fines and a lot of mandatory treatment, he apologized, sure, saying he was very sorry and had begun treatment to make sure it never happens again. But you know how apologies like that go. Some people bought it, others weren't convinced. Either way, Discovery Channel quietly cut ties, and he faded into the background. Despite officially disappearing from Deadliest Catch, there were plenty of eagle-eyed fans who still spotted him lurking around. He may have been out of the limelight, but that didn't mean he was completely off the Northwestern. In fact, some footage from Mandy's Instagram, Sig's daughter, who's now taking over a lot of the family business, showed him right there in the background, doing his thing. It was like he was trying to pull a "Where's Waldo?" hiding in plain sight, and fans were quick to pick up on it. Rumor has it that he managed to keep his job on the boat, but was just told to stay far away from any cameras. Probably a smart move by Discovery. They didn't want that kind of controversy attached to their family-friendly adventure show. He had a reputation for being a hardworking, skilled fisherman, but it's clear that the fallout from his personal life has cast a long shadow over his career. His absence left a noticeable void on the show, and it's hard not to wonder what could have been if things had turned out differently. It's a story that's all too familiar. A person with talent and opportunity, only to have it undone by their own actions. And while he may still be working behind the scenes, his days as a celebrated TV personality are over. With Edgar suddenly gone, everyone wondered who would take over on the Northwestern, and someone surprising was ready to step up. How Edgar Hansen built his net worth. So where does that leave Edgar Hansen now? The guy's not broke, that's for sure. Estimates put his net worth somewhere between $2 to $3 million, largely thanks to his time on Deadliest Catch and his work as an engineer. And let's not forget, when he was still a featured personality, he was reportedly making between $20,000 and $50,000 per episode. Of course, those paychecks aren't coming in anymore, but it seems like he's still doing just fine, just away from the prying eyes of fans and cameras. Mandy Hansen, meanwhile, has stepped up as the new protege of the Northwestern, and if her dad, Sig, has anything to say about it, she's doing a pretty damn good job. Sig has been nothing but supportive of his daughter taking over. In fact, in a recent interview, he made it pretty clear. If you don't like it, you can get the hell off my ship and find another job. Harsh? Sure. But that's the kind of attitude that kept the Hansen family at the top of the fishing game for so long. There's no room for weakness or drama, not if you want to survive the Bering Sea. Edgar's scandal might have thrown a wrench in the Hansen legacy, but it's clear Sig and Mandy are determined to keep things moving, no matter what. The Northwestern has always been a family operation, and Mandy's ascent is a natural progression. She grew up with the fishing lifestyle ingrained in her, and it's no surprise she wanted to continue the family tradition. Mandy's not just some rookie either. She's already proven herself capable.
Had my bags packed. I was ready to leave. And my dad, saw me getting ready to leave, and that's when he said, hey, I got a ticket for you to Alaska. We're leaving tomorrow.
Whether it's navigating the treacherous Bering Sea or managing the crew, she's shown that she can handle the pressure. But taking on the family business also means inheriting the weight of the Hansen name, and that comes with all the baggage, both good and bad. For fans, Edgar's sudden departure was a reminder that reality TV isn't always as glamorous as it seems. The rough seas and dangerous fishing might be real, but behind the scenes, these are just people. Flawed, sometimes deeply so. It's easy to idolize the tough, hard-working fishermen risking their lives out there. But when the cameras turn off, reality hits hard. Edgar Hansen was one of the best out there on the water, but his personal failings cost him his place on the show, and maybe a bit of his family's good name too. It's hard to look at Edgar Hansen and not think about what could have been. He had everything going for him. A respected position on the Northwestern, the admiration of fans, and a spot on one of the most popular shows on television. But one bad decision, one moment of terrible judgment, was enough to bring all of that crashing down. His story is a cautionary tale, a reminder that no amount of fame or success can protect you from the consequences of your actions.
There, and this is where 5 guys try to get dressed with the boat pitching around and rolling, and it becomes quite the chaotic scene just to try to get ready. But it's fun though. I mean, we're a tight-knit group and it gets tighter by the...
While Edgar's career in the spotlight may be over, the Northwestern sails on. Mandy, with her father's support, has taken on the challenge of leading the boat and carrying on the Hansen legacy. It's not an easy task, especially given the circumstances of Edgar's departure. But she's shown that she's up for it. The fishing industry is tough, unforgiving, and demands resilience, qualities that Mandy seems to have in spades. And with Sig still at her side, mentoring her, it's clear that the Northwestern is in good hands. There's no denying that Edgar's scandal tarnished the Hansen family name. But if there's one thing we've learned from watching Deadliest Catch, it's that the Hansens are survivors. They've faced countless challenges on the Bering Sea, storms, mechanical failures, injuries, and they've always come out on top. This is just one more storm they have to weather, and it looks like they're doing just that. Mandy's rise to prominence on the show is proof that the Hansen legacy is far from over, even if Edgar's role in it has come to an end. As the Northwestern continues its path across the Bering Sea, it does so without one of its most well-known crew members. Edgar Hansen may no longer be in the spotlight, but his influence on the boat and the show can still be felt. He was a key part of the Northwestern's success, and his departure left a gap that Mandy is now working to fill. It's a new chapter for the boat, one that's being written without Edgar, but with the same determination and grit that has always defined the Hansen family. For Mandy Hansen, taking on the rough seas wasn't just about keeping the family boat going, it was about proving herself. Mandy Hansen's path to the sea. Mandy Hansen, born on May 15, 1995, in Seattle, grew up surrounded by the sound of crashing waves and the constant smell of fish. Her dad, Sig Hansen, is pretty much the king of that crazy show, Deadliest Catch, where grown men try not to die while pulling up crab traps. Not her biological dad, though. She was adopted by Sig and June Hansen. But make no mistake, Sig has always treated Mandy like his own, dragging her out onto those dangerous waters before she probably even learned to spell maritime. It was one of those childhoods where the phrase, learn to swim, might have meant something a lot scarier than just dog paddling in a pool. Mandy didn't have a regular childhood filled with sports teams or dance recitals. Instead, it was all about boats, cold weather, and keeping up with her dad's expectations. Fishing? That wasn't a choice. It was basically the family business. The Hansen family revolved around the Northwestern and the idea that if you weren't out risking it all in the Bering Sea, what were you even doing?
I'm really hoping for some fast fishing so I can get back home to my baby, obviously. So you think we can do this fast?
I hope so. For Apelios, looking at the survey, everything that happened last year, it was all up the line. So that's what we got to do.
Sig started teaching Mandy all those fishing tricks pretty early on, almost like he expected her to turn into his carbon copy. Imagine having to work hard just to prove you could hang out with Dad. By the time she finished high school in 2014, Mandy had made up her mind. She wasn't about to stand on the sidelines while her dad sailed off to danger and fame. Nope, she wanted a piece of that action. And it wasn't just for fun. Fishing for Mandy was a chance to prove something. Probably to herself, but also to the world that didn't think a girl could tough it out on those icy, unforgiving waters. Her parents weren't exactly thrilled at first, considering the risk of, death. But eventually, Sig came around. By 2014, Mandy was a regular on Deadliest Catch, not just posing for the cameras, but hauling lines and dealing with fish guts, trying to hold her own among the guys. Wanting to be more than just a deckhand, Mandy figured that she might as well aim for the top. She enrolled in a maritime academy, trying to get herself licensed to captain ships a whole lot bigger than the Northwestern. Big ambitions for a girl who was still learning what kind of guts it took to command respect on those boats. She knew the risks. She'd grown up hearing about how unpredictable the sea could be, how it's always just one wrong move away from becoming a headline. It's probably why she kept going, pushing herself not just to be good, but better.
That's my fault. I should have made you put this on.
I
know
heard
you've
a
never
different
heard it.
sound. I was looking over here.
I get it.
understand
That's
what
why
I'm
it
hearing,
drives
and
me.
then I saw that
I
going
understand. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm trying to not let this ever happen again. It's all I care about.
The audience watching Deadliest Catch didn't just see Mandy as some captain's daughter playing at fishing. They saw her become a genuine part of the story, with all the storms, breakdowns, and even the odd heart-stopping moments where everything could go horribly wrong. On the softer side of her wild career was her love life. In 2017, she tied the knot with Clark Pedersen, a fellow fisherman who, clearly, wasn't put off by the thought of tough, demanding jobs on the open sea. Clark proposed on Deadliest Catch, too, because why keep anything private, right? It was all about living in the public eye. They got married aboard the Northwestern in a very Norwegian ceremony, giving a nod to Sig's heritage and maybe trying to make the whole thing just a bit more dramatic for the show. It worked. The cameras caught it all. By 2021, Mandy and Clark welcomed their first daughter, Sailor Marie. Because why wouldn't you name your kid something sea-themed when your entire identity is boats? Come 2024, they added a second daughter to their little crew, but they've been a bit hush-hush on the details. Guess even reality TV stars need some boundaries. As the dangers of the Bering Sea grew, Mandy's will to stay strong only got tougher, even when things got harder than ever. Breaking barriers at sea, Her career wasn't exactly a smooth ride. Let's face it, trying to make it in a man's world is one thing, but doing it in a place that actively tries to eliminate you every day? That's a whole other level of crazy. She was fighting against stereotypes and a bunch of burly dudes who probably figured she'd quit the second things got tough. Spoiler alert, she didn't. She stuck it out, getting respect the old-fashioned way. Through hard work, stubbornness, and the kind of grit you only get when you're pulling up crab pots in freezing conditions. It's not glamorous, and she knew it, but that's what made it matter. Each time she went back out there, she proved a little more that she wasn't just Sig's kid tagging along for the fun of it. Mandy Hansen's life is a tale of grit, family, and survival on the high seas. Her family, the Hansens, have a unique way of living where their work and personal lives are deeply intertwined because both occur in the same setting. Their home often doubles as their workplace. She works alongside her father, Sig, and her husband, Clark, on the famed Deadliest Catch fishing boat. This setup turns their job into an intense version of family bonding, filled with more risks and challenges than the average family faces. Living this life wasn't just a choice for her. It was embracing the world she was born into. In the world of deep-sea fishing, each day brings new dangers. From massive storms that toss their boat around like a toy, to gigantic waves that threaten to sweep them overboard, the hazards are relentless.
You didn't see that?
You just buzzed it, and I saw the red button.
Yet for her, these dangers are just another part of her daily routine. Fishing with family means that these terrifying moments are shared with her loved ones, which only strengthens their bond. It's as if there's an unspoken rule among the Hansens that if the sea's fury can't bring them down, nothing will. Balancing the demands of this treacherous job with family responsibilities is an art in itself. The sea is unforgiving and calls her away from home often, sometimes for weeks. This separation from her family isn't easy. Each departure is a reminder of the dual life she leads, split between her roles as a fisherwoman and a family person. Despite the difficulties, she has found ways to make it work, showing a resilience that not only keeps her going back to the sea, but also helps her manage a household. Her commitment to her career and family has never waned, even though it means constantly battling not just the physical elements, but also the expectations of a traditionally male-dominated industry. Being a woman in this field is tough. She has had to prove time and again that she is just as capable as any man out there. Her presence on the boat, doing the same hard, risky work as everyone else, is a powerful statement of her determination and skill. Her life story might seem like it's straight out of a dramatic television saga, full of near misses, heart-stopping dangers, and the raw beauty of the ocean.
I would love for it to be me, but then it was the fact that I was a girl, so I didn't know how to work with that. I didn't know how to talk to Sig about it.
But beyond the TV drama, in the life-threatening situations, lies a deeper story about a woman's place in both her family and her profession. It's about her quest to forge a path in a world that often seems cold and unforgiving, much like the waters she navigates. Yet through all the storms and struggles, she has remained unwavering. Her life at sea, intertwined with her life at home, showcases a path not just across the vast, unpredictable ocean, but also into the very heart of what it means to be part of a family that tackles life's greatest challenges together. Her tale is not just about surviving the sea, it's about thriving in a life built around it. This is why her story resonates with so many. It's a testament to her strength and an inspiration to anyone trying to make their mark in a challenging environment. Mandy Hansen's story proves that with enough resilience and love, one can navigate even the toughest waters. Is Edgar Hansen's exit from Deadliest Catch a simple decision? Or is there something deeper and hidden from fans? Tell us what you think, and remember to like and subscribe for more.